Good afternoon, my name is Ray Stubbs. Welcome to the 2022 Winmau product launch. I'm joined by two top professionals, Mark Webster, Paul Nicholson, the Winmau production director Lee Huxtable and marketing director Simon Hall. We're going to look at the in-depth work that Winmau have done to create what we believe to be the world's greatest product launch in the darts category. There's no stone unturned. They've explored absolutely every avenue. I have expert knowledge alongside me, and it's already very clear the design, the detail and the desire that has gone into driving the world's leading darts equipment manufacturer. Now, to compete in sport, to compete in anything at the highest level, you just can't afford to stand still. You have to push all the time to harness every technological advance, to do absolutely anything possible, despite how small it is, no matter how hard it is, to get an extra advantage. In fact, if you stand still, you are effectively going backwards. Now, this has fascinated me about Winmau's new product launch and also the flagship new product, Blade 6. This is beautiful. It's more than a work of dart, it's a work of art. It's so interesting to learn about the background and the detail to how the world's most advanced dartboard has been developed. Now, this is a dartboard made to exacting standards, and it's a product that every player across the board, everybody can use this, whatever the standard, you can play on the board that the top pros actually use too. Mark, you're a world champion. You know all about dartboards and you've been with Winmau for over 10 years. What is it that you see in this new board?
Well, they've just added quality, haven't they? I really like the numbering system on it. I think it just adds that little blemish at the end. And obviously, I've experienced playing on all the blades, you know, particularly the blade 3 and 4 and 5. And yeah, they've just taken it to a next level now. It is the best board out there. It's unanimously agreed across the board that the Winmau boards are the best. And this blade 6 is going to be no different. And I'm looking forward to getting cracking on it.
Paul, how do you equate blade 6? What do you see in this new board?
It's head and shoulders above anything on the market, quite frankly. And for me, the exciting thing is not just how aesthetically brilliant it is, because it's very sharp looking, let's face facts. It's what's gone underneath to try and make this more durable for your average darts player and for the professionals out there. I think this is as close to a complete dartboard as we have ever seen.
Lee, can you outline some of the technical advances that you've put into this, please?
Yeah, so basically we split it into three key areas. Durability, high scoring, playability, and then also the aesthetics. We were looking for a nice, crisp, clean product that justified the amount of development that went into it.
Now, there are things you're going to have to explain to me today. Carbon concept.
Okay, so if we cut a dartboard straight down the middle, we already got a patented dual core concept where the outer core is designed to be soft to receive darts, heal well. Then we've got the dual core, where there's a little bit more density there, which reduces the kinetic energy, stops the force hitting the backboard. The carbon fibre concept is millions of little carbon fibres sort of developed into a resin to protect the backboard to improve durability and longevity.
Okay, here's another one. Density control.
Right, okay. Probably the best way to explain this would be to show, if I was to cut the double and treble rings straight down the middle, traditionally, when you press a dartboard web into the base, you've got angles underneath to separate the fibres, otherwise they just get crushed and it'll force the web out. So traditionally, the angle on the underside is directed fibres inside these small areas, the high scoring bullseye, treble and double areas. On the blade 6, we've angled the underside of the wire to direct the fibres away from these smaller high scoring areas to reduce the density and improve playability.
So is this unique to Blade 6?
Yes, across all the Blade 6 webs, it's patent pending for the dual core concept.
Simon, this blade looks different. Can you explain the background to that? Why, how, and what you were looking for?
Yeah, we have to make sure that a finished product that goes into the market looks the absolute best there is out there. And this takes hours because dartboard design, the actual visual side of it is really, really hard. You're not dealing with a digital product. You're dealing with something that takes skill of designers so that visually it's not blocking what players can see, but also they look at it and it's that you see it, you want to buy it. It has to be that visually appealing. And we think we've achieved that.
Can you give me some more background, the pair of you that have designed this, about the cutting edge numbering and just how you went about that?
Okay, well, we first came up with the concept of the new numbering probably 10 years ago. At that time, the technology simply wasn't available to produce what we wanted. We looked into press tooling to punch all of the numbers out. We tried injection molding a unit out of plastic for a one piece, but we realised we needed to be a steel one piece numbering. So when laser cutting technology became available, that's when we made the step towards this, and we're pretty pleased with the way it's turned out.
Mark, this is a big step forward, isn't it? It's huge.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, I don't know how they've done it because the Blade 5 was the best board out there for me, but to eclipse that, it takes some doing. And yeah, like I said, it's good on the eye. I do like the numbering system, and the durability of it as well. It's a high-end board, and you want the board to recover. Like Lee said, they've made additions to help the board recover from, so when it's played on for a long time, it still holds in good stead. And yeah, they found all the answers, and I think it's gonna blow the socks off all the other boards in the business.
Yeah, Paul, you've already said that there are boards you've enjoyed playing on down the years, but for this, for you, is this really the one that you're going to look at and say, this is the market leader now?
It has to be. You look at it, it's a beautiful thing. It's slick. We live in a society where things have to look good if you want to buy them, like Simon's already talked about. But when I first looked at this board, I thought, ooh, that's very, very slick, very sharp. And a lot of the branding around the board has been minimised to make the dartboard look a bit more slick. I love that. And it's something that I've already practiced on and can't stop practicing on.
We're already getting an insight into the desire and the work level that has gone into designing this board. Let's hear some more thoughts and opinions now from some of the other top pros in the game.
Oh yeah, we get the stories from the old players with the rounded wires, the smaller area on the treble. I mean, Bobby George will talk about how they threw from 8 foot in the news of the world on those old boards. But, gone through the times, I've only ever played on a blade, that's all I know. And yeah, it's been a good experience for me, and I'm watching them develop through the years.
The actual dartboard that I learned to play on was an elm board. It was used to soak it in just like a carton where you'd put a dartboard in, but it was tin.
Fat wires and big staples.
Of the early dartboards, of course, the worst thing for us was the wires. But at that time, when we was playing on a Pro SFB with the round wires, it was normal.
Big standout thing was you used to have all the staples and the big wires, and obviously that used to cut down the treble.
And when you have a soft spot, you hit the wood on the back, and then the sisal drops out, and you pull out the sisal, and that's so annoying. And as a professional,
The amount of bounce outs you used to get, obviously if you've got darts close to the treble.
You expect it not to make an impact on your game. You just want it to be seamless in the match. You don't want to be talking about the board. You want to be talking about the game and how it's been positive. You've not lost darts. You've not hit any hard spots, any soft spots, and the blade does that. I mean, the less impact it has in the game, the better.
Yeah, I've had some bad experience. I've had a lot of good ones, but yeah, a couple of crucial times in games where I think the board has let me down.
If it happens at a key stage, a key moment, or what the amount of the dart as well, what it can do, it can change a match. Not just that throw, but the the mentality of the player. I mean, I've played against a player who kept losing darts to the floor, and you just jump on it, don't you?
I've hit some hard spots on the board, or something must have gone wrong. And
that's what I'm saying. A board should never have an impact in a game. It should just be about the two players going at it, and that's how it should be.
What we were aiming for was to come up with the best possible dartboard. So there's a few areas we focused on. We knew there was an issue in the bullseye area. We've seen it many times.
The bullseye and the doubles and trebles often have hard spots by the nature of the sizings forced together.
That's when we looked at the density control concept. We managed to reduce the density, not only in the bullseye area, but also in the treble and double areas.
8.6 density control prevents this happening by allowing a flow in the smallest areas.
That's the way forward. Then you start to develop even a better dartboard, a better looking dartboard.
We looked at the durability of the board. We already were achieving good results. We had the concept of the dual core dartboard. We wanted to take that a step further with the carbon fibre concept to improve durability. What we've done is impregnate a layer of carbon fibre resin right on the glue line to improve durability.
Practice on these boards all the time, so me being confident in the board and I know the way they're manufacturing it. Lee showed me a video of how they do it out in Kenya, and I mean, yeah, it's fantastic, the amount of effort that they put into these boards to get them perfect.
All dart players demand a high-performance dartboard built to last that doesn't get in the way of your game.
The numbering, something that we were looking to improve for a number of years now.
It's a slick board. I really like the numbering system on it. I think now you've got that numbering system, the old one sort of looks a bit dated.
A design with the numbers sort of takes the glare out of your eyes.
Our main goal was a one-piece numbering, which was nice and clean, crisp, really showcased the whole dartboard.
I think it'll stand up to pretty much anything.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's nearly impossible to get the Caesar out.
Sexy back.
They did a great job, Winmau, to produce something like this, because that's what people want, that's what a professional wants.
Thank you for joining us today. We heard from some of dart's greatest names. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for the questions that are being sent in. And we're going to try and answer as many of them as is possible. Lee, question from Sarah in Lincolnshire. How much research goes into making the Blade 6? So I guess, when did you start and how long have you been working on this? And I would imagine that it's been pretty tireless for you all.
Yeah, well, I could say it started when we launched Blade 5. You're already looking for the next generation. Yeah. So when you get into the nitty-gritty, probably 4 years ago, you start collating literally millions of darts have been thrown at pure dartboard bases. Every bounce out, every drop out has been recorded, and then you're collating all the information, looking for new concepts, trying them out, testing, and then you start thinking about coming into production then.
Is it a slow process? Do you look at something, then work on it a bit, then go back to it, and then maybe put some things to one side, but then think we're going down the right track here, and then push on?
Yeah, because things can change. You might think you come up with the answer, and then you can retest the same board in a different climate, different moisture. All of these things can have an effect on a dartboard. So your results can change over time. You know, you're looking for the perfect product, really.
Nico, question from Richard in Southampton. What real difference does it make playing on one board from another? Surely they're all the same to aim at.
Well, it's the same hockey, of course. It's 7'9"1/4" and steel tip darts when you're aiming at a board. But when you see what is an HD product, it makes you more willing, in my opinion, to hit the targets that you're going for. And the targets pop off the board as well when you look at the Blade 6. It's a case of I can see that double 16 in clarity, whereas with some of the other boards you just can't do that because of the wire technology and the Sizell technology.
So you're saying the recognition for the brain has a marked effect?
Absolutely. Take it from someone who has worn glasses in the past and has played without perfect vision. Well, I think playing on this board without perfect vision is probably going to make it easier for people like that. But of course, if you have perfect vision and a perfect dartboard, it's a great ingredient.
It's not point doing anything unless you're going to do it properly. Mark, a question from Graham in Suffolk. Have you played a direct role in protesting Blade 6?
Not an exactly direct role, but in obviously the blade forward, and if there was, I think there was an issue with when we started the prototype sent out, it's a few bounce outs on the ball and the wiring system, and that's one good thing Winmau are about. They listen to their players. If there's something wrong, they address it and they get it right, and that's why we get the perfect products like we've got here. And it's not constructive criticism, but they want to listen to the opinions of us, and I think it helps, and it's helped in the past, and it'll help going forward. But I don't envisage any problems with what we got here, the Blade 6. But like Lee said, probably already looking ahead. But no, it's good that they listen to us and they take our opinions on board, and it helps to get the best products.
Lee, you're a boffin. How has the bullseye changed from Blade 5 to 6?
To start off with, it's been made 25% thinner, which it doesn't sound much when you're talking about 0.4 of a millimetre, but it actually is a lot when you're talking about incredibly thin wires. So not only that, it's obviously hardened, which has an impact then on the thin wire, but then we've incorporated the density control concept to direct fibres outside of that small area to make it more receiving for incoming darts.
Simon, Brian in Birmingham asks, why would Winmau replace what was already seen as the best dartboard?
It's quite simple. It's management is doing things you can do. Leadership is trying things that aren't potentially possible. So as leaders in the industry, we've attempted and come up with something that other people wouldn't have thought possible. And that's what it takes to be market leaders.
Right. Simon and Lee, what is the difference between Blade 5 and Blade 6? We sort of covered that a little bit. Simon, how pleased are you to announce the new Blade 6? Charlie Gray asks that. So I guess it's the importance to your company and the importance to darts of this new product.
Yeah, it is. I feel a bit of a fake sat here announcing it, saying it's, how happy I am. We're unbelievably happy, but it's our engineering team that have spent the years and a lot of, not contention, because we innovate through a process that has a lot of its arguments and going back and forth, and what the guys have created for us as a marketing team, they make our job easy. So for us to announce this wonderful looking product is just, it's a privilege to do.
As we go forward, sometimes you do always look back. And a question now from Jim, it says, Mark and Paul, how have dartboards developed throughout your career? Can you give us a quick summary then of when you guys first started playing, sort of where we've got to in regard to now where we are now with Blade 6?
We've had staples in boards, round wires. I have been at county games for my Northumberland team, as little as 20 years ago, where players were getting more than 10 bounce outs in a best of 5 match. That doesn't happen anymore. It's a case of listening to the players and what's happening in their games and how these instances can be reduced. And we now have a board that we can be very proud of, and potentially, I know that Lee's already thinking, what can be done, but that will be on the feedback of what happens with this, the best board that's ever been produced.
Yeah, you never stand still. Mark, what are your thoughts now on where the journey of dartboards has been for you during your career?
Yeah, pretty much what Paul says. We've played on the round wires and, we have the bounce outs and stuff. But I stand by that a dartboard shouldn't have an impact in a match. It shouldn't decide a match. It should be the players that decide it. The dartboard is there just to do its job, and this one will do that. You don't want to be talking about a board at the end of the game. And in the past with the round wires, it was maybe an issue, and staples that Paul mentioned. But we've got such a slick board here now, we're not going to have bounce outs. And it just allows the players to play, and that's what gets the best out of the players when they're going forward. They produce the best darts when they're relaxed about the board they're playing on.
Andrew Spence has contacted us. Lee, has the Blade 6 been tested against aggressive points like those used by Simon Whitlock?
Well, essentially, you shouldn't need those type of points with this board. This board has been developed for dart players, whether you're using a 12-gram dart with a short rounded point or whether you're using a 35-gram dart. I could make you a hard dartboard that'll last, a ridiculous amount of time, but you're going to get darts on the floor. So this board has been tested for all scenarios, all different types of points, all different types of darts, different types of throws. So what we've done is come up with a universal dartboard, so you wouldn't need those. But I would say that the carbon fibre resin will hold the sizel in.
Nico, when you go to an hockey and you aim at a board like this, does it motivate you, or is that a daft question, that when you look at something that's new, cutting edge, fantastic, looks terrific, does that actually motivate you? So the same could be said for anyone that throws darts. I've always said that anyone that's thrown a competitive dart knows exactly how difficult it is. Do you get motivated by playing on something like this?
You do, absolutely. Whether it's myself, whether it's Mark, or whether it's somebody who is out there today looking to purchase one of these dartboards, they want to hang it on the wall, and the likelihood is they will be throwing darts until they have to go to sleep that night. I remember buying my first Winmau boards when I was a kid, and I had a 9-darter on it when I was about 13 years of age. I've still got that board, and I think my granddad's got it. But just to bring things back to where we are now, I've not been practicing a great deal this year because of injuries. I've come through operations. But this board, which I was delivered a little bit later last week, I was practicing all week because this board, when I looked at it, I thought, I want to hit this thing.
Mark, does it motivate you playing on a spanking, terrific board like this?
Yeah, of course it does. It's that bit of freshness as well, isn't it? Sometimes, like Paul's had to spell out the game, I've had to spell out the game, and to get something like that to sample, we got in the post this week just to have a little practice on, you know, it just brings that out in you, it gives you a new hunger, and it'll do that for players of all levels now who purchases county level, Super League, local league. They'll want to play on this board, and it'll give them that appetite. And you know, it can lead to bigger things for these players. If you're playing on a good board, it'll give you the appetite to go forward, and that's what the Blade 6 is going to do.
A lot of people are joining in as we speak, clearly, because there's loads of questions arriving. Lee, do I still have to regularly turn the board to help longevity and durability? Thanks to Lee Bryan for that question.
Well, obviously, rotating the board increases the life of the board by 10 times, so we would always recommend that. What we do is stand by the figures of the testing, of our in-house testing, about how long a dartboard is going to last, and the figures that we see are very encouraging.
Simon, you know what we said about standing still? Well, Chris Bates says, beyond the Blade 6, how much further can the board be improved? So I think in a way that sort of reinforces what we said about if you don't push on all the time, you are effectively going backwards.
Yeah, and I think that's the work of us as a marketing team, as a production team, to continue what we see as daily improvement. And as the guys, as we're manufacturing, as we get feedback from the marketplace, we will start to find small things out. And a lot of the Blade 6, the development has been what we call under the hood. So it's not always just the visual improvements you see, but it's the things that we do under the hood. And I've no doubt we will continue to improve that on a daily basis. I'm not saying how long it'll take, because this is a pretty special product.
Thanks to everyone for asking those questions. We'll try to post all the questions and the answers on the Winmau social media channels and the YouTube feed. And please continue to send in any questions that you would like to ask. The attention to detail that goes into making this dartboard is fascinating and impressive in equal measure. Now we move to the next part of this launch and review some of the superb product lines. We'll start with the much talked about Michael van Gerwen exact darts and the journey Michael has been on with Winmau over the last 18 months to find the perfect darts. Let's hear from the man himself. Let's hear from Michael about what he wanted from his new darts.
What is the hardest part for you in changing your darts?
Ooh, that's a tough question. The hardest part, of course, is the confidence. But don't get me wrong. Of course, I switched over from my old darts towards my new darts. That's never gonna be easy. It's never easy and never gonna be easy for anyone. Because if you also look towards other players, a lot of people change, but they don't do it because they want to do it. Because of course, change manufacturers. But if you're gonna look towards my old darts, they were gone. They were finished. No more grip on it. So then I decided to sign with Winmau, with the biggest and the best manufacturer in darts. Simple as that. And we went. I went a few times towards the factory in Bridgend in Wales, and spoke to Lee, who's the best in his job, to create me my set. And it took me months and months and months to create the right set, but we got there in the end, and that's the most important thing.
So what is the difference between a new dart when you get up on stage compared to when you practice?
I can play with any dart, same as all the other professionals. They can play with any dart, but it's not only the dart; it's the total combination. If you're gonna look, I use the new MVG design vector shafts with a little metal bit. If you're gonna look towards my previous darts, I used the nylon shafts with the rings. I had too many darts coming into the shafts because there was too much space here, and yeah, then myself and Lee went to design the right shaft for me with the right length, because this wasn't just a normal length. So the total length of the dart you want to have exactly the same as the previous one, because it has to do with the speed towards in the air, with the quickness of the darts flying through the air.
And the balance for you as well.
The balance is probably nearly the same as my old dart, the balance, because that's what I like. And when you like something, why would you, and why should you change the balance? Because I don't think there's a need for that. But because of my darts were so old, the nicest feature, they sandblasted the full dart. That's where gives you a little edge from, hey, they look like they are a little bit old, but they are brand new, because that's how they make them. That's how specialized this dart is.
How do you prepare for a new tournament set to be ready?
Yeah, new set. To be fair, now I had a few weeks off, then I changed my new set again. I used to always play with the same set for years and years and years. I don't want to put myself in that position again, and that's why I picked up exactly the same set again, and now I don't have any problems with changing anymore. And that's the way you want to go, and you don't want to create any troubles for yourself, because for no one, changing is easy. It's the same you tell Roger Federer he has to change his racket from his current sponsor to a new one. That's never going to be easy, because it's such small details, they still going to change. Then that people say to me, I want exactly the same set. But that's not how it works, exactly the same set. Because if you've been playing with a set of darts for 10 years and you're going to tell someone who's specialized in making darts, I want the exactly same set, that's not possible.
And that was the feel you wanted from the set, so that it was the actual diameter, like the old set.
Of course, and that's for myself. You have to do what's right for yourself. And I think with this set, it's the right setup for me. And I've been working on it quite a while, because I've got a lot of stuff lying here, and I've been working with it, been testing a lot of stuff, same as I do with all the MVG design stuff. And of course, I'm really glad I could help produce this dartboard as well, testing it. And yeah, then you can create good things, and you have to do something together, and you can do everything on your own.
Another feature of this dart that you've driven through is that you wanted at the exact 21.5 grams. Tell us more about why that is.
Yeah, if you're going to look back to the start of my career, I used to play with 26 gram. That used to be a Phil Taylor dart, and that's not even, that was before I come on television. And I could see and I could feel that was too heavy for me. So I dropped back to 25, then back to 23 over the years as I grew up. And last time, of course, my darts were 23 gram, but I was playing with them for probably 10 years. So they worn out to 1.5 grams, something like that. So, and that was the feeling. Of course, with the testing period with Lee from Winmau, I've been testing 23 grams, 22, 22.2, everything, but still 21.5 works the best for me, and I got the most, it feels the most comfortable in my hands, and also with the way how I throw. I can't wish anything better at the moment.
This is the first time we've seen a player bring out a dart in the middle of a gram range at 21.5, and this could change the way people view their grams, and it certainly has made an impact for you.
Yeah, for me it does, and because we are professionals, we notice even the smallest thing on a dart. I notice. Let's say someone damaged my dart, or the point is bent, I will feel it straight away, because if you treat your dart with respect and you know how it feels in your hand, you're always with them. I'm more with this darts than I'm with my own family. So for me, that's my job. That's what I am. I'm a professional, and I also want to perform as a professional and to win as a professional. And I like to be the best.
And so we can say to finish that these darts have been made with all your passion, your energy, and your dedication.
Always, but of course they are made because if you don't do that and if you don't have a good feeling with your darts, you're not going to perform well. And what I just said before as well, the total package has to be right. The feeling towards Winmau, the Winmau who created my darts, and I think everything together, it's a phenomenal combination. The best wants to be the best. Simple as that.
Michael is so animated there, and that's actually quite infectious. Lee, what's been the process of making Michael's new darts? And this journey's been running for quite a while. How long, in fact?
Yeah, well, it'll be 2 years in January. So yeah, it's been a long process, as you could probably tell from the video. In the beginning, very, very open to anything we suggested. Actually won the UK Open probably 18 months ago using a completely different setup to the one he's using now. This particular dart, probably 12 months ago, we went back to basics. Quite a few visits into the workshop, a lot of personal touch, a lot of sort of hand filing, trying different types of grades of shot blast to get a perfect surface finish, different diameters. All of this has been tried and tested by Mike. I think the way he's playing now, the averages are starting to show that he's getting back to where he deserves to be.
So you would point to the personal touch as a success factor in the fact that bit by bit, groove by groove, whatever, you've worked with Michael to get exactly what he wants, so he's the most comfortable he can be.
Well, yeah, I think if you can't give that level of confidence in the equipment, if you can be any help in that process, then it's going to have a positive impact on his game.
And Mark, you've had customer fit darts too. How important do you see it? And in regard to Michael, what's the issue in getting used to a new set of darts? Can you sum that up for those of us that don't understand that as much?
Yeah, it is. It's you have a new set of darts, you've got to give him time. And Michael van Gerwen's a perfectionist, and he's trialled a few sets of darts, but he came to Winmau with an open mind. Like I said, listen to Lee, Lee's an expert, and we're finally getting there with Michael. Yes, he's a bit of a title drought in terms of what he wants to win, but he won that title in Denmark a few months back. He went close in European, so I think he's finally getting there now. And anybody that follows darts, yes, he hasn't been winning as much as his associate, but the last few months, his averages, his performances have been good, and it's taken something special to beat Michael. But this dart he's got now is what I associate with Michael van Gerwen. This is what I'm used to seeing him play with and producing the best results. And yeah, with the tournaments coming thick and fast, I think it's a perfect time for Michael to introduce this dart into the game.
And Nicky, what would you say about the hard part of changing darts?
I think it's a bit like a relationship, really. He had a huge relationship with his old set, and I think when things change and you want to move on, it's about finding the small idiosyncrasies, what goes wrong, and finding out how to fix that. And it has taken him a little bit of time. He has had success previously with other sets, but he has a level of success that he wants to attain that is probably greater than anybody in the game. And the thing that intrigues me the most, as someone who has been fitted by Lee, who is the best engineer on the planet, that's not even disputed, but it's the hand filing and the finish on the darts. We're talking about things that maybe only gunsmiths talk about. This is really, really precise. And we're talking about Lee and Michael having a relationship themselves to give him the best possible product. And I'm with Mark. I associate these with MVG right now.
And I guess as well, a lot of people will think and hope that a little bit of Michael magic could rub off on them, because we can all go to a board and try and throw. Okay, we're not going to throw anything like the standard that you guys do, but there is that association, isn't there, that if you throw with darts in a similar style that Michael throws, or you throw, or anyone throws, a little bit of the magic's going to rub off.
Absolutely right, and this is not a bad dart to be starting on if you want to get your first set of darts being an MVG set, because it's a pencil style dart. It's got a universal type of grip which can be used for an elite player like MVG, or indeed someone who is just starting out. It's a beautiful, different style of finish. It's not glittery, it's not shiny, but it is just a little bit different. And you never know, that MVG magic just could rub off on somebody out there and turn them into the next big talent.
And Lee, you know what? Michael van Gerwen and all the other top players, well, boy, they know what they're doing. But they know what they want, no doubt. So in a very professional way and an affectionate way, I'm sure the relationship is quite demanding because he will want the very best, the very, very best. And I'm sure he'll let you know.
Oh, yeah. Like I say, we're probably talking 20, maybe 30 different types of samples produced during that time. Positive or negative feedback coming back from Mike. We just do whatever we can to get what he wants. He's hugely dedicated and particular about what he wants.
Sam, you're taking the step to market the darts in 21.5 grams. That's a first. Why are you doing that?
Well, it's the first for one of our players, but we just wanted authenticity about the product that Mike has worked so hard on, so that every person who plays the exact dart gets the 20-odd years of Michael's experience that are in the development that have gone into this set of darts. He's playing 21.5 gram barrels himself. We want everyone out there in the marketplace to have that opportunity as well. I think you'll find it could start a bit more of a trend because people might try half a gram here and there, especially players who've had darts for a long time that have worn down. So the half gram simply for us is authenticity.
A lot of questions arriving, guys. If we can sort of quick fire give some answers to people, they were delighted you're getting in touch with us. Mark, why do you think Michael's chosen these particular darts?
To me, this is his go-to dart in a sense. It's a dart associated with Michael van Gerwen, but Paul made a good point as well. It's not shiny, and that's one thing Michael doesn't like. It's like a subtle shade in it. It's a dart I think he's going to be comfortable with. It remains to be seen whether he gets back winning the titles frequently, but he's there or thereabouts. And a new dart with any player gives you that appetite to practice and get on the board again. So particularly if someone as dedicated as Michael van Gerwen, he'll be pounding the board with these at the minute because there's a real busy end to the year coming, and he'll want to show that these are the darts for him, and he'll want to put some titles under his belt.
It's really interesting to hear about the minute detail that Winmau go to get the players ready to play at their very best. And make no mistake, they're under pressure up there to score heavily. And it strikes me as well with darts global growth and so many recognised players now, it's not hard to see the appeal to so many fans to hear that they'll be collecting darts, they'll be playing with darts. The choice, it would appear, is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a far cry from the old days, isn't it, when people had a set of darts. And how long would they last? How long did your first set of darts in days gone by? How long would you stick with a set of darts?
Long time. I mean, it would take a lot of pocket money to go out and buy one set of darts, that's for sure, when I was younger. But nowadays, I think we've got a lot more people collecting them, keeping them mint in box, which is taken straight from the comic book world, because they are collectibles. But at the same time, if you want to use these things, they can last a long time because the materials are so much better.
Mark, in terms of how you changed darts down the years, how long were you sticking with a set of darts, and how has that changed over the course of your career?
I'm not one for changing too much. Probably why I'm not playing at the minute. But maybe I should have changed a bit more. But no, it's different, isn't it? I think now, especially with all the additions that dart manufacturers can bring, particularly Winmau, like the diamond grip and stuff, that can wear off if you're practicing the board on the board a lot. So you need that change. But for me, it was different. It was just keeping the old set of darts, the old faithful. It's like Paul said earlier, trying to implement a new dart into the game situation is difficult. And that's what Michael's done, going back to Michael. If Lee gave him a set of darts, it wasn't just a practice at home. He chucked them in the Premier League that week. He'd go for it. He was committed, and he's committed with this dart. And that's one thing that I never did. But it's different for every player. But going forward, I think it's what players do now.
Simon, it strikes me, touching on something there, just about the way darts have become, and used the phrase there, Nico, collectible, and people that collect things and just like having sets of darts and like sort of charting the history of the whole thing. You know, let's be straight about this. It means so much to so many people. It's worth marking, it's worth keeping, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they capture a moment in time where you as a fan can really involved in that. And we see it with certain sets of darts around certain times, certain tournaments that get won. And then changes mean that all of a sudden this previous model could feel more valuable than the new model. So you then get people who would look to collect that. And some people now, you know, dart players are changing the darts more often. It has captured the imagination, and the old player keeping a set for 20 years is now That's in the minority, not the majority anymore.
Now, it's not just Michael that has new darts all the time. You've been custom fit. Of course, everyone, a lot of players are custom fit. Tell us about your set of darts now and what you want from the darts and how you work with Winmau to get exactly what you want.
Yeah, over the last couple of sets that I've had, they've evolved with Lee's help, and he can somewhat telepathically know what I need before I even know I need it, which is a mark of what he does. But with this new dart, it was, for me, about a change of colour, so it's an aesthetic thing. But I think the most important structural change was towards the point where I was taking some weight away from the point joining the barrel, because I found that my middle finger was starting to rub against that and it was becoming derogatory for my game. So taking the weight away from there and putting it into the middle for a bit more balance has helped. And the moment I started using these and putting them into my Pittsburgh Steelers black and yellow, they just represent who I am right now.
Lee, do you look at people on the stage, on the TV, or sort of live in an arena? Do you look at people and immediately sort of say, I think something needs to be done there? Could you see that immediately?
Yeah, quite often.
Really?
I always believe there's a few percent room for improvement with most players, and that, like I say, sometimes it can just be that mental thing about sort of having a bit more confidence with the product. But for instance, with Paul's darts, originally he was quite particular about a very rounded, flat nose. Very particular, I wouldn't move away from it. And for me, it was just bothering me that he was going to get more deflections coming off the flights. And it probably took 7 or 8 years for him to sort of realise that. And I think that then we will see some improvement.
Simon Whitlock and Scott Waite have strong views on dart design. What have you learned from them, and what can you do for them?
Well, if I took Scott Waite's dart, he basically very particular on his drawback. He doesn't want to sort of his hand coming into his eye line. So the length of the dart was quite important. We shortened the shaft slightly, and then we added more grip by using CNC milling technology, which sort of 10 years ago wasn't really available. So there's quite a big improvement there. As far as Simon's concerned, Simon's going through transitions even now, always trying new things. Quite a unique profile on Simon's darts, really. It was he can be very hands-on. He can send me a picture. He's got a grinder in his workshop, sort of putting flats on it here and there, and he said, I want to try this. So then I have to sort of put it to production then.
Nico, you knew Simon's game.
Yeah.
What would you say about the special edition for him?
I think it's very Simon. There are so many pieces on this dart. You just have to get really close to this thing and think, oh, well, what gave him the idea for putting a notch there or a flat piece there? These are very, very beautiful darts. These are going to be taken by collectors all around the world, in my opinion. They're almost regal. These could be classified as a crown jewel, in my opinion. But like Lee says, he's always looking to improve, and he's going through another stage in his career right now where he's looking to re-establish himself once again. But this is very much a collectible and a dart that you will want to look at and use. It's a beautiful thing.
Lee, my great friend Bobby George has got a new set. What an amazing legend and an ambassador and representative for darts he has been and continues to be down the years. What did Bob want from his new darts?
Well, yeah, obviously it's an absolute pleasure to work with Bob. Just listening to some of the stories he comes out with can take up half the time. So, yeah, we wanted plenty of bling, so we've gone for genuine gold coating on the dart, mixed with a bit of silver, PVD coated. We've actually personalised it with a milled candelabra logo on there, which Bob quite liked. That was when he first received these. So yeah, it's plenty of bling, good balance, parallel dart.
Plenty of bling. Does it play music as well, you know, for Bob or something like that? And the new development. Mark, Joe Cullen's stormed up the rankings, hasn't he? What do you see about Joe's darts that can help him and the style and the development?
Yeah, they're just subtle changes for Joe. Like you said, he's getting up the rankings now. He's on the verge of something big. He was a semi-finalist in the European Championships just last week. So they're just subtle changes because his game doesn't need a lot more improvement. He just needs that little bit of improvement. There's a bit more grip on the bottom and a bit more grip in the middle as well. But the way Joe's playing, it's just a slicker finish as well. But the way he's playing, I think these could be the darts that takes him that next step. He's a major champion and waiting, and he's got to produce that now, and he's got the equipment to do it. And hopefully, with these new darts, Joe will do over the next 12 months.
Well, you've got to look right as well. He's got a new shirt, I'm told. What's any chance of you wearing one of those? What's the
Well, I don't think they do them in a medium, Ray, so I don't think I'll be having one. But no, I do like Joe's new shirt. I should have had the time, really. But yeah, it's the red and black colour that we associate him wearing. It's a colour that we recognise Joe in, and yeah, I'm sure they'll be very popular, as will his darts be.
Now, of course, there are new special edition ranges to satisfy the huge fan demand over the world. So I'm going to start with you because, you know, we've been talking there just about darts for the top pros, but obviously all sorts of ranges are available and you will cater for everyone.
Yeah, the range darts have got to tell their own story. They've got to have something that makes the player feel, well, do I want to have a player fan dart that's like a player, or do I want something that suits me? So the range darts allow all of the players in the world to try what they want to find as their own closest custom fit, if you like. It allows us to show off our innovation and technology, so we can push the boundaries of the grip, the coating, the colour combinations, and that in itself then changes the innovation cycle for probably about 3 to 5 years, because today's pros may not use the latest high-end mill grips, diamond grips, but the players that pick them up at the age of 15 then turn into 20, 23-year-old, 25-year-old. They're then using that technology. So we push the boundaries, push them into ranges, and it allows players to experiment.
Lee, tell me about Wildcats and Firestorm, please.
Well, obviously, two of our new dart ranges. So the Wildcats is slightly longer barrel than standard. We're sort of very close to Michael Van Gerwen's length barrel. We've got a standard ring grip positioned at the front, a nice sort of radius front, and standard blue and red colouring, really. The Firestorm, pretty unique coating, sort of an airbrush finish, very sleek, modern for the younger dart players, finished with a brand new design flight, and yeah, I think it's going to be pretty popular, especially with the younger generation.
Nico, what do you reckon to these new darts on the block?
I love the new Wildcats because it's a really good, solid dart for anybody who wants to put their grip at the top, the middle, or the bottom. I'm not quoting Striker Lucky, but I think with the other ones, I think what Lee said about it appealing to the younger generation. Darts that we talked about a little bit earlier, Ray, they used to be just hunks of tungsten with a few bits of grip on there, but nowadays it's aesthetics as well. Everything has to catch the eye, and those Firestorm darts, they just really pop off the page. They're a beautiful thing.
Mark, what do you reckon about the new launches and what you think of these two new products? Yeah,
I like them. The longer barrel, I think it's to different tastes. It wouldn't overly suit my game, but it's the aesthetic look, isn't it? The colours and stuff like that. That's what we need in sort of the modern day. People like a dart and how it looks. No one wants the old style dart, and I think they're going to be very popular. But at the same time, regardless of the colours of them, they're a really nice dart, very grippy, and they'll cater for many because it's sort of the go-to dart, that sort of shape. And I can see them selling well. They're a good product, and someone's going to be successful with them.
You know what? It strikes me that you've got to have the technology is there. You've got to have sort of fashion and sort of, you've got to have fashion, you've got to have some of the really, Nico, as you said, you've got to have some of the really takes the new generations. And having discussed so many darts and the dartboard as well, well, you haven't stopped there, have you guys? You've got some new products that have come out that we'd like to show everyone today, some of which I think are absolutely fascinating. Simon, give us a summary, please.
Well, we started with the Edge bracket, which people will ask obviously what it is, but this was developed actually, it was an idea of Lee, who, whilst in his shed, didn't have enough distance to throw straight at a wall, so came up with this product that fits into the corner. Now, for me in my garage at home, exactly the same thing, flat screen TV on the middle of the wall, no real space. The Edge, this just opens up millions of spaces to play darts. You can rotate your board with it, you can extend it in and out to include a surround if you need. It just means that so many more people now could think, oh, I could put a dartboard in that corner, and I just think it's fantastic.
It's so simple, but it's brilliant, isn't it? It just like gives you options, doesn't it?
Yeah, it gives you options in places people didn't think possible, whether they could be bars, whether they're games rooms or whatever. It's just fantastic. It's really well thought product.
Lee, what's the thinking behind the new Polaris light?
So the Polaris light was basically part of the same family as the plasma light you see here, which is a more permanent unit. This unit is being developed more for the mobile market. Maybe the guys would take them away on tour. So it's got magnetic fixings on it. The size on the arc 120 degrees, so you're losing any shadows that you would get off a single spotlight. So it's got a very, very sort of similar amount of light to it, but more for the mobile market rather than the permanent.
Okay, Mark, the outshot surround.
The Johnny Clayton outshot surround, it should be called. Yeah, it's handy for beginners. I know we in the boards we have the little cards with the finishes on, but this is literally right in front of you. So literally, example, your 170 treble 20 bull. We'll use a Johnny Clayton special. Let me find one. What is it? We'll find 41. What is it? 1 tops, or not the way Johnny goes, 15 for double 8. But yeah, it's just there in front of you. I think it's for the beginners in the game. You need to know your outs. It's important. It decides matches. Paul will tell you that. But just getting used to when you leave a finish, what to go for. And there's not really a pause in play, is there? Just to look to a piece of paper at the side. You just have a little raise around your surround. I think it's a great product, and particularly, like I keep harping on, for beginners in the game, counting is one of the most important parts of the sport.
Nico, is this going to be a really good training night?
I think it has to be. I've spoken to people who are looking to improve their game, and they don't want to have to reach into their pocket for a card and almost put their reading glasses on and think, what do I have to do here? If it's right in front of them, then I think this is going to help, because some people do stumble with this when they're starting in the game. And we've heard from Mark that some people stumble at the top of the game as well. So it's a fantastic thing. And not just that, but looking at it aesthetically behind the dartboard and around it, it actually looks really slick as well.
Now, how cool is this? Dart Dock. Come on, Dart Dock. Well, how cool is this?
Give me one of those, Lee.
This is serious.
I don't know who came up with this, but I swear everyone is going to want one, because when you finish playing darts after a practice session, or indeed after a match, all you have to do now is that. Finished. What a perfect place to leave those darts when you're done. I don't know why this hasn't been come up with sooner, but now that it has, there are so many uses for this thing. You can obviously put your darts in it at the end of a session or at the end of a game, but these are going to be used as paperweights. They're probably going to be used as coasters. Yeah. But this, for me, because I've already got one, straight in there, practice session over, brilliantly.
Oh, you're going to do well with these, Simon, aren't you? Because there is a multitude of uses for Dart Dock.
We've kind of stressed that we don't want to see him on the wall for the damage it'll cause, but no doubt that's going to happen. I think some of our players have even tried to get 180s on them, but it's effectively the world's smallest dartboard in miniature, and it is just so easy to use, so convenient, and the take-up on them has already been fantastic.
Anorak that I am, they will be incredibly collectible. People will just buy quite a few of those, I would imagine. They'll have little displays around the house, won't they?
Especially if you want to put a winning set of darts in there that you want to keep for a while, that you've done well with, yeah. Fantastic.
Some of us don't have winning sets of darts, by the
way.
No,
nor do I.
Special edition wallets, cases, accessories. Tell us more.
So yeah, we've got a brand new Blade 6 themed case, which has got lots of different compartments in there. Very well made, space for your flights, for your shafts, a removable foam insert. Importantly, fully assembled darts, so you don't have to go messing around taking the shafts off on the flight. So if you go to darts, you just pop them in and secure them in your Blade 6 dartboard case.
Now, there is also, I'd like to ask you about Vectra 6, a very slick looking Blade 6 Vectra shaft. What about that one?
Yeah, well, this is a sort of more of a lifestyle product and celebration of the Blade product combined with our best-selling Vector shaft. Now, the Vector shaft was developed, everyone just used nylon shafts or aluminium, and there was always the flights were coming off. They never felt as solid in flight. So the Vector shaft completes that, and the testimony to that is a lot of our players have now switched to Vector because of the flight stability and the flight in dynamics. So we've celebrated it. We're just gone for a design that shows off the colours of Blade 6. They're on Joe's new dart here, and they just look absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much to the panel for running through these new products, which are absolutely terrific. Look, we've got some time left, and there are a few questions arrived. And once again, everyone, thank you for joining us on today's launch. So a couple more questions that we can get through. Lee, how durable is the shot-blasted coating on darts, playing time-wise, before it starts to break down and chip wear?
Well, it won't actually chip because it's embedded into the surface of the tungsten. The honest answer is the more accurate you are, the more it's going to weigh. I mean, you're talking about projectiles hitting each other time after time, literally can be thousands and thousands. So any kind of metal, you're going to get metal on metal contact, and you're going to get wear in certain areas, especially around the nose. So hopefully, if you are getting wear on the front end of the dart, you're playing well and they are working.
A question's come from Paul, not sure where from. Nico, are you surprised at the way darts technology has accelerated over recent years? So, because from the outside, I would say sort of the graph was sort of went like that, then all of a sudden it's gone sky high. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that because, like we said with Mark earlier, we looked at the Blade 5 dual core board and said, this is the most complete dartboard we've seen to date. And I was scratching my head thinking, what on earth could you do to make this better? And that's why someone like Lee is needed, because they have the intellectual insight as to how to make a product better. He's looked at the materials, like the sisal in the dartboard, and asked how it behaves, and is trying to nurture how it behaves going forward to give it more durability. And that's why I suppose you get paid the big bucks, Lee.
Mark, what's the benefit of having custom fit darts, really?
Yeah, it's to your tastes, isn't it? And I think there's a wider range now. I mean, you're thinking, like you just mentioned, Ray, 20 years ago, it was a bog standard set that most players would have, but not now. And each player is different. Some players like a shorter stem, a shorter barrel, longer stem, longer barrel. There's so many options now within Winmau that we can cater for every player's needs. And yeah, it's a fantastic option to have. And for players starting out, I always stress about beginners, but they've got time to sort of experiment with darts now, and whereas it was just go with the set you got when I was starting out. So it's a fantastic problem to have, too many sets of darts, but it's the way the game is now, and yeah, it's the way it will be going forward.
People want to know what are your favourite products from the launch. Don't know if that means darts or the lifestyle products, but what's called yours is Dart Doc.
I've got one of these, and I already want another one to put on every floor of my house, because these are just game changers. I think everybody will want one of these. But just going on what Mark was saying about technology, I think you need certain players, of which Winmau has on their roster, who are willing to go that extra mile to try something different. Sometimes we scoff at the likes of Mervyn King and Simon Whitlock, but they're the kinds of players who are opening the door to others' ideas to see what they can get from their equipment in the future. I think that is really, really important, because what they have done has given me ideas to go forward to talk to Lee about my own career. But I look at the Joe Cullen dart, for instance, and since he joined Winmau over 12 months ago, the way his game has evolved, I can see him only going one way, which is evolving even further.
Lee, can you explain the colour coating in the Fire Storm darts? How have you managed to blend coating colours into each other? It comes from Thornton Darts, it says here.
Obviously, without giving away too many trade secrets. So this type of coating obviously is quite deep within the dart, from quite deep off the surface. So there's a special surface treatment to the metal, and then there's a kind of an airbrush type method used to create the graduation between the colours. It's not your typical PVD coating, which is quite limited to a single colour.
That is just about it. Time has flown. Thank you to everyone at Winmau. Thank you for joining us today online. Thank you to everyone that's made an effort to support today's lunch. I know just how much Winmau invest into the sport of darts and their positive influence on the sport worldwide. Of course, you can find every single product we've talked about today, all available from all good dart stockists globally. You can continue the conversation on all the Winmau social media channels, and they'll be posting full details of everything that's been asked and as many answers as possible. We have an amazing competition as well, by the way. The highest score in 3 darts between myself Mark and Paul, and the winner is going to get a Blade 6, Simon, is that right?
Yeah, the first production run Blade 6 that we actually took off the line in the factory. So this is the very first board. It's not the first prototype, it's the very first board that was signed off for. So it's a very, very special prize.
So we're going to record a video of that, and I will throw three darts at the board, and so will Mark, and so will Nico, and you have to contact us and say who will get the highest score. Well, we know who's going to be third, don't we? But I'm not quite sure who is going to be first or second. But anyway, if you guess right and then you get pulled out the hat, you will get the first board that came off the line. That's a terrific prize to have. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. The Winmau Blade 6 launch has been really interesting, and it's been great to learn about just the way technology is advancing, and also congratulations to Winmau for everything you are doing for the sport. Nice to see you guys. Great to be in your company as we approach the most exciting part of the darting calendar, the World Championship season. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Goodbye.